Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this Viking webinar that we're having here today. Today's subject is going to be the 5 Series defrost system, and that would be the defrost on the bottom mount, side-by-side, and all freezer. Today we're using a bottom mount unit. My name is Michael McGuire, and again, I want to welcome you. At the end of this presentation, a survey will be sent out to you, and also be known that this is being recorded. So, and if you have any questions at any time, just raise your hand and we'll get to them. So, all right, so starting out, let me just go ahead and get my screen up for you, and I'm gonna go ahead and share it. Let's see. Okay, so everybody should be able to see my screen now. First and foremost, what I want to show you is kind of what we're trying to attain today. What we're trying to attain today is the quickest way to diagnose the frost issue. And all the information that is available on Documento. There is several documents. There was also a video. I was just trying to look for it here. There is a video that I created a couple months ago, which goes through this whole process. So there's a lot of literature out there for you. So, okay, so we're going to start here. Conditions of the frost. Okay, and on the 5 Series, basically, all right, there we go. So there's 3 things that have to happen in order to get a successful defrost. And there's 3 things that can stop it from defrosting. And everything is tied to the freezer evaporator thermistor, the freezer cabinet thermistor, and the defrost terminator, all 3 of those components, okay? Freezer evaporator thermistor's got to read at least 40 degrees or lower. If it does not, it will not allow this to go into a defrost. Freezer cabinet thermistor has to be below 45 degrees or will not allow the unit to defrost. And then, of course, our defrost terminator, which closes at 45 and opens at 75. Now, if all these conditions are met, what we're going to do is go ahead and run a defrost, and first we'll do an automatic test, then we'll do a defrost. Now, if you come into a customer's home and the unit's been unplugged and they just plugged it in, you're going to get a failed defrost system because those temperatures haven't been met. So a lot of times you go in a customer's home, they defrosted it themselves. These tests won't work for you until that thing cools down. So, as you can see here, the unit control board will monitor the evaporator thermistor during the defrost system. And anytime the freezer evaporator thermistor faults, opens, or shorts, the board will see that and it will automatically change it over to a conventional defrost, which will be every 8 hours for a period of 17 minutes. So that's done internally on the board. Okay, so you walk into customer's home, you look at the evaporator, it's full of hot frost. The very first thing you're going to do is run the automatic tests. The automatic test will go through the components and identify anything that's wrong with any of the components. So the first thing you want to do is to go ahead and you enter the service mode, okay?
Accessing service mode A. Enter service mode. You are now in service mode program A.
Okay, so once you get to service mode A, the next thing that we're going to want to do is do the automatic test.
Run the automatic test program. Press and hold the activate controls and display off pads for 3 seconds and the display will change to AUT. Press and release the activate controls pad and TO1 will be displayed. Press and release the activate controls pad a second time and the automatic test will begin. The automatic test will run from test 1 through test 24. If no errors are found in the automatic test, then the display will show PAS. If no errors are found in the automatic test, then the defrost heater and terminator are working properly. If F10 is displayed, this means the defrost circuit did not activate. Exit the automatic test cycle by pressing and holding the Activate Controls pad for 3 seconds.
Okay, so that's just kind of a sample. We're going to actually switch over right now to a live unit I have here. And we can kind of go through what I just showed you. Let me just disable the door switch now. For the training today, obviously, I took the control panel off, and I mean the user interface and the control panel to expose everything. Normally, you won't see it in this condition, but I wanted to kind of point out your testing areas to see what's going on. So, like I just said, you come in the customer's house, you open up the door. First thing you're going to do, I'll hold that there so you can see the screen, which you can. And I'm going to hit Activate Controls, Fast Cool, higher, lower, higher, lower. So you're in program mode A, okay? Now, when you're in program mode A, you're going to hit the Activate Controls and Display Off. Hold on, 3 seconds. Okay. You notice the lights went out, compressor shut off. It says AUT. That stands for the automatic test. Now, there's 2 tests. There's an automatic one, there's a manual one. The manual one will go through each unit and actually give you amperage readings. But to make a quick diagnosis of the defrost system, you want to use the automatic test. So you see the words AUT, which is for automatic. You see the first test, which is going to be the compressor, and you go ahead and start it, okay? So now this is going to run for about a minute and a half, minute and 3/4. And what it's going to do is it's going to test with all the components in the unit, compressor, condenser fan. So while this is running, I will tell you that when this is done on the service test, it's going to say one of the failures is the mullion element, the mullion heater. The mullion heaters on our units do not come connected from the factory, so they'll always fault out unless you manually connect it in the field. Again, while this test is running, over in this area here, this is where your high voltage is, which goes to all your components. It goes to your mullion element. It goes to anything that's 120 volts in this unit. You're going to find it right there. Main power coming in. This is where we're going to make the test in a few minutes to go through your unit. So you're in the customer's house. You open up the door, access service mode. We started the service test. Automatic service test, and we'll see what we get back from it. When we are done doing the test, if we do not get a failure on the defrost system, if it shows the defrost system is okay, that means the defrost terminator is good, the heater is good, our temperatures are below for the thermistors, both the VAP and cabinet. If everything checks out okay, and we have a defrost issue, then at this point, we're going to ask you to do a download of the data files in this unit. I'm going to show you how to do that. And you send it to servicefiles@vikingrange.com, copy your RSM, and they'll analyze that and see what's going on. In most cases, when it gets to that point, sometimes it's the board. It's something that's gone wrong with the board for defrost. But that's what you're going to do after we do the test, okay? So we're just about done on the test here. I just checked the water valve. It's going to go through the drain pan fan, the drain pan heater, ice maker, and plasma cluster. Now the ice maker is going to fault out because I pulled it out so we can access the freezer compartment in a moment. So, all right. So now as far as the defrost terminator goes, as I stated earlier, it closes at 45 and it won't open till it gets 75. Once that opens up, then that unit has to cool back down below 45 degrees to close again. So that's why, again, going in a customer's home that the unit's unplugged is not going to be any value to you unless you jumped out the thermostat. Jumped out the defrost terminal, excuse me. Okay, so we have FO1, okay, and FO1 is going to be our compressor. I don't know why that did, oh, I know why it did it, because the compressor just started as I was starting the test, and then the compressor shut down. Of course, there's a delay for the compressor to start, so sometimes that can be erroneous depending on where the compressor is running, but I can assure you this compressor is running. Now on the 5 series, and we're going to do the 7 series on Friday, works a little different. On the 5 series, any faults that are here, they're not going to scroll. On the 7 series, it'll show you an error code and the number of the code. Then it'll give you the next one. It'll just scroll all the failures. On this, we have to manually hit the higher or lower button to see what we got. So F12, okay, F12 is going to be our mullion heater, because as I stated, it's not connected, so that we know the heater is not attached. F13 is a freezer cabinet lighting. It's because I've had the drawer out and timed out. Again, normally I don't see the 13 on an actual unit. And then F23 is the ice maker, so I took the ice maker out. But the main thing is there is no F10 there, okay? No F10, that means that the test ran the heater, ran the defrost terminator, and it checked out fine. So you get to that point, okay? So what we'll do is we will go ahead and we will get out of the service mode. Okay, hold on, I want to stay in service mode. Okay, so we're going to do a download right now. Okay, so we're at service mode A to do the download. This instructions is in the mini manual. What you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and install a USB stick. Okay. Let me get out of service mode. Do this again. Okay, so it recognized the USB stick. We have heard some technicians say they've had some USB sticks that don't work. They plug it in, it just won't accept it. Most of the time I have seen no issues, but if you see USB there, now there's a couple there are a couple of files on this unit, and this is actually where we can upload some software if we need to do that. But what we're concerned right now is it ran the test, no failure on the defrost circuit. So we're going to go to DLO for download. Okay. Now the download here, what it's going to do is it's going to run for a couple minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. It's going to flash. I'm not going to do it because I did it this morning and it was taking a while and it was cutting my time on the training. So, but when you hit the activate control pad, this starts flashing. When it's done, it's going to say END, end. All you got to do is pull the flash drive out and you're on your way. You get it sent over to the email address I told you. To get to this USB port, okay, you do not have to take the user interface down. All you do is just take the grill off and there's your plug right there, okay? All right, so we've gone through the automatic test, but let's just say that you did get the F10, okay? So now we have to find out what's failed in the system. Is it one of the terminators? Is it the heater? Is it the defrost heater? So what we have next is we're going to go ahead and put it in a forced defrost right now because we want to see what happens when the unit goes to defrost. Okay. So to do a forced defrost is activate controls, press and release, and then hold the higher and display off pad. Okay. Activate controls, higher and display off. You see the words DEF right there. So it's in a defrost circuit right now. Everything should be activated. So in order to see what's going on right now, we have to go back to service mode. Okay. So we go to service mode, activate controls, fast, cool, higher, lower, higher, lower. We're in service mode A. So now we're going to go look at the parameters. Let's go check these components to see what they're doing. So to get to the parameter view, all we do is hit the alarm off pad. You see D01. On the current units, there are approximately 53 parameters in this unit. We're just going to focus on a couple of the ones right now. The first one here, D01, is just for, and to see what it's reading, you hit the activate control pad, you can see it says 54 degrees refrigerator. That means the thermistor here is reading 54 degrees. Okay, the next one, D03. Okay, now this is the freezer thermistor. This is the actual temperature sensor inside the freezer. And you can see it's reading 1 degree. So if it read 75 degrees, we got a problem. But 1 degree means that that's what the average temperature is in that compartment right now. So that's good. That meets one of the criterias. The next one is going to be. Oh, I got out of it. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we go to 4, which is the freezer evaporator thermistor, not the air sensor, but the evaporator thermistor. That's reading 6 degrees. And as I said earlier, we need to be on the freezer evaporator below 40 degrees. So we've met that criteria. There's nothing wrong with the temperature on the evaporator. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next test, which is going to be number 9. Okay, so we go. Okay, number 9, when we activate that, number 9 is going to check the status of the defrost terminator, defrost thermostat, excuse me. Okay, because this is a working unit, you see CLO, which means the defrost terminator is in the range of 45 degrees. It's actually colder than that. So in this case, because it says closed, then the defrost terminator is closed. If it said open, and we're at 1 degree, as you saw, 1 degree in the air temperature. That means we got a bad defrost terminator, defrost thermostat. Because if it says open, and sometimes you'll see 3 dashes, which means the board is trying to calculate what's going on in the system. If it says open or 3 dashes, then you got to stop and go check what's going on with the defrost terminator. We can check it up at the board, which I'm going to show you before you pull the drawer and all the food in the back cover. Okay. Okay. And then finally, we got D22. Is on. That means that of course, this unit's working. So this is telling me that the heater is on right now. So because the heater is on, just give me a second. Because the heater is on, I can go right here and check my amperage. And I don't know if you can see it or not. Maybe not. Right this way. I don't think it will work. If you can see, it's about 4.17 amps. So I know the heater's working. So right now in this unit, the defrost system itself is working. If it doesn't go into defrost, those other components aren't causing it. It would be in the microprocessor. That's where, as well, if you check all the components and everything's checked well, I would still do a download so that we can look at and see what the problem is. I would go ahead and to get the customer going, go ahead, defrost it and order a board. But if you're getting 4 amps and all that, there is absolutely nothing wrong with the defrost system. Okay. So those are the components that you want to check. Those will get you into the defrost circuit. See if there's anything else I want to go over with you. Okay, let's go through the wiring right now. Okay, we're going to go ahead and shut off the unit. Okay, so what you've got here is you got a cover here. Normally, you don't really need to access that. If you have to, you can. These are all identified on the wiring diagram. There's 2 wires here that primarily, one is orange and brown and orange tracer, one is black and orange. Okay, now the black and orange goes to the heater and then jumps over to the defrost terminator. And then the brown with the orange is from the defrost terminator. So if we want to check either the heater or the defrost terminator, we can go ahead and get our meter out. And we can go ahead and check. Right now, we can go ahead and check ohms. Okay, so I got my meter set to ohms. And if I go between the defrost heater and my neutral, I get about 29 ohms. That's what the defrost heater is. It's 29 ohms. And as far as the defrost heater, you can check that even in a warm box because this is on the other side of the defrost terminator. Okay. If I go, oh, popped out on me. If I go on this unit, if I go to the defrost terminator, you can see I'm getting a 29 ohms. So the defrost terminator is closed and I got a good heater. So right there, and again, we're not taking anything out of the freezer. You just check both components. Now, if it's zero, if you don't have anything, then you're going to have to take the freezer apart and find out what happened. Is it a terminator failed? You can probably tell here if it's the terminator, because if you get zero there, which is the other side of the terminator across the bridge, but this is the heater side, which is good, then you know it's the defrost terminator. So again, if you want to order it, just defrost it for the customer, but that's how you would basically check out the wiring for the components for the defrost system. Go ahead and see what else I've got for you here. Okay, so we went through all the tests. So I think we're pretty much done here today. Any questions at this point? Do we see any questions?
I don't see any.
No? Okay. I don't know what's going on here. I'm trying to get my screen back up. Okay, so we covered all the defrost system. So yeah, again, oh, I know what I want to do. I want to go into the freezer. Give me a second. I knew there was something I forgot, Leanne.
Oh,
So I'm taking out the freezer drawer right now.
oh,
Boy, they get heavier and heavier. Okay, go ahead, get the power back on, get the lights on. And let's go to my camera and we'll switch cameras. Okay, so here's our, took the defrost cover off the back wall to kind of expose it, make it a little easier for you to see. But so what you got here is you've got your just get down and inside the unit here. Okay. So I've got the defrost, the cabinet thermistor here, which is mounted to the control panel. Of course, I've got it out. And then over in this area is your defrost terminator, brown wire, orange wire. And then you get all your wiring, it jumps back up. I want to point this out. I forgot to mention earlier. If you all don't realize, this pink wire that's just hanging here is a spare wire if one of these wires in the harness breaks. So you always got a backup wire if that happens. So we got our defrost thermostat. We got our tapped on here is our evaporator thermistor. So all your components are right there, but you don't have to take this apart to get to them. So, so that's where everything is located. I will tell you that this defrost terminator is going away. It's already gone away on the all freezer 5 series and on the 7 series all freezer. We've gone to a thermal link, and the thermal link replaces the defrost terminator. And on the thermal link, it's closed up to 183 degrees. You'd have to hit a heat gun on that thing to open it. So if you ever find one of those tripped, and we will have a webinar on that once we get more information on that right now. But if that ever tripped, that would be an indication to me personally that that heater has been stuck on. So in that particular case, if that's open, could be a bad board. But we'll get some further information out to you on the thermal link as we get it. But Okay, that's the whole defrost system. Again, I'm open to any questions. If anybody has one, if you don't, like I said, there'll be a survey sent out to you after this today. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't, I'm doing this again on Friday, but on the 7 series. So if you didn't sign up for that, I'd recommend go ahead and sign up and we can go through that as well. So if there are
Hey,
no
Michael,
questions, yes.
Alexander asked for a PDF file with test procedure. Do we have that? I can
Yes, I
send out?
do.
Okay.
I've got actually, I'm just wait, hold on one second. There are, oh, oh, alarm off, hold on. Boy, that's loud. Yes, we do have documents. There's a mini manuals, all that. There is a document that I've created for training when I'm in training, which makes it easier. It's kind of everything's compacted into about 5 or 6 pages. I can go ahead and send that to him. If you just get his email address, I can send this to him.
Okay.
And it's a document that I use in training. I created it just to make it easier for me, but it has everything that I just went through in it.
Perfect.
Anything else? Okay, well,
That's all I
again,
think.
what's that?
That's it.
Okay, well, everybody, thank you very much for attending. Thanks for coming, and I hope you found it interesting and got some information out of it. Thanks again. Have a great afternoon and have a great weekend.